Saturday followed the burial of the late Jonathan firstborn son, of President Daniel Arap Moi, retired President Daniel Arap Moi, which has ended up bringing out a lot of revelations about the life of one Jonathan Moi, in the local press, in the mainstream media. People have come forward and talked. Of course, a lot of it confirms what we have discussed, or rather what we discussed on this channel very early on. And in some cases, we have been given even more information, which is quite in order. Bombshell revelations like the late Lena Moi, wife of retired President Daniel Arap Moi, and of course mother to the late Jonathan, had to take a matatu, to attend the funeral of her son-in-law, Ibrahim Choge. Now, I've received quite a bit of backlash, some of it dangerous, about revealing so much about the Moi family. Somebody even called me, pretending to want to give me information, but then ended up telling me that I know nothing about Lena Moi. I'm just wondering what these angry people would have done had I made that revelation, in my initial video on Jonathan Toretich, and his closeness to his late mother, and how it affected, in a very big way, his relationship with his father, and the rest of the family. More so after the separation, of Daniel Toretich Arap Moi and Lena Moi. But there's something else, in my view, that stole the show on Saturday. And this was a father's tribute to his fallen son. For regulars on this channel, this particular tribute makes even more sense when you have the background that I've already given you, about the relationship between father and son. Of course, many people who had this tribute from retired President Daniel Arap Moi to JT, his son, his fallen son, are not aware of the background. And when it was read out by Senator Gideon Moi, it brought tears to the eyes of many. Grown men were shedding tears. Let me quote part of that tribute verbatim. "I have lived a full life, and my only sadness is that my beloved son did not. No father should bury their child. I can picture our Heavenly Father rushing to greet and hug his returning prodigal son, with Jonathan's late mother, Lena, dancing with joy. Dear son, I sincerely thank God for giving me a son like you. You are not perfect, and you made mistakes, but you are blood of my blood, and you had a great loving heart. Stay well, son, until we meet again." Yeah. I don't know what to say. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say the background that I've already given, actually it's in a previous video I did, and you can see a link on the top right hand corner of your screens right now. Just click on it, put that video aside, and you can go to it immediately after you're through this one. Then it will become clearer to you. It goes without saying that the death of his eldest son has really affected the former president, in a very major way. You will remember that shortly after the death of Jonathan, the Moi family said that they wanted a private function. They wanted to be left alone to mourn in private. The clear insinuation here was a private funeral and a private mourning period. Just the family and a few close relatives. And it is clear these instructions came from the retired president. I am guessing the reason why things changed is that the old man was made to see that his request was impossible to fulfill. This was the son of a former president. How do you have a private function? How do you have a private funeral? The character of the late Jonathan Toretich if nothing else, also made it impossible. He made friends all over the place, from people from all walks of life, and especially people who are not necessarily rich and famous. All these people were eager, to bid farewell to their friend, and in some cases to their hero. Now let me give you another quick tip. Gideon Moi's statements, and views and preferences reflect those of his father. That is why he's the favored son. He will always do and say things according to the wishes, of Mzee, as they call him. And so, those people are saying, oh, Gideon Moi is blocking people from seeing the retired president. Whom does Gideon Moi think he is? They'd better rethink. Because for your information, the second president of Kenya is not senile. In my mind, the second president of Kenya is actually 70, and not 90-something, heading very quickly towards 100. No, this is a young man, 70s, max, tops, because he still has a very sharp mind. He knows exactly what's going on. And he has always been a very curly man, a very strict man. If he doesn't want to see somebody, he doesn't want to see that person. End of story. But he also understands politics, and he understands unnecessary, damaging political drama. And that is why the team of senators, led by the Senate Speaker, Kenneth Lusaka, who were blocked from seeing him, were given an appointment the next day. And they saw him briefly before proceeding to the funeral service at Kabarak. Now, for you to get a clearer picture of what the retired president may be feeling or has been feeling since the death of Jonathan, his son, I will tell you a story. When my father, my late political lecturer, passed on, we were not on talking terms. And we were not on talking terms because of an issue, that ended up causing his death. There were some people with very evil intentions who had wormed their way very close to him. And of course, it was in the best interest of these people to make sure that me and my father were not on good terms. At all costs, they had to make sure of that. And they succeeded. And so when I arrived to view his body at the mortuary for the first time, after his death, I was not thumping my chest, saying to myself, I was right, and you are wrong, and you paid for it with your life. No. Instead, I was full of guilt. I felt that I could have done more. I should have done much more. I should have stopped everything I was doing, and I should have moved closer to him and stuck there until I was able to get the message through. Whatever I was doing was not even important, because had I done that, he would have still been alive. That's how I was reasoning. His death affected me in a very major way. The grief alone, it took me over a year, just to be comfortable with it. Now back to Moi and JT, his son. Time, the passage of time, always ends up showing you a lot of things you did not see earlier. And with age comes something called wisdom. And there is no doubt from the words of tribute of Moi to his son. I mean, just a casual reading between the lines will tell you very clearly that he is feeling a lot of guilt. He is feeling that there are a lot of things he should have done that he didn't do. Life is supposed to be a classroom. So there's a very big lesson for all of us to learn from this. Do what you can do, and do all that you can do without expecting anything in return to those close to you, to those around you, to those you love. Because you have absolutely no idea how much time you have with them. Don't hesitate, because, God forbid, you could find yourself saying the things you should say now in their eulogy, at their funeral. Or you could end up leaving this planet before you have the time to tell them certain things that maybe they don't even know. So put down whatever you're doing right now and get on with doing that. Do it immediately. That's my advice. Number 2, and equally important, if you're a son or a daughter and you have issues with your parents, stop what you're doing now, put down everything that you're doing now, and go and see your parents. And humble yourself and make sure that thing ends today. Whatever beef it was. And if you're a parent or a father, do the same to any of your children. And bless your children and break any cursing words you may have uttered to them in the past. And learn from JT's case. Because you see, JT, his goose was cooked a long time ago. When you have an angry father, he's very angry at you most of the time. And you see, when somebody's angry, they say words. They say things. And those things end up being curses on your life. So it becomes very difficult for you to succeed at anything. You see, the spiritual realm operates on something called authority. Your father has a lot of authority over you since you're young. Okay, now you're a grown-up person. You're doing your own things. But whatever is said in anger to you in the early days could still be affecting you now. Fathers, humble yourself, and call your children and make peace with them. Is it so important for you to be proved right as a father? Or is it more important for your child, your son, to live a full, happy life? In my view, that is what makes the story of Moi and his son very sad. The kind of thing that brings tears to my eyes. Of a life that could have been. Of a success that could have been. Of a totally different kind of life that somebody would have lived. Let me just leave it there. I hope I've gotten my message across. And I hope that we've learned something today. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.